Thank you. For the new members, first time, generally we are the one that judge these, the plaintiff versus the sheriff department, okay? You are allowed to ask questions for clarification only. We don't, it is not our job to prove the case. Either Mr. Ismail or the sheriff department got to prove their own case, okay? For clarification only is the only question that we may ask, but if you feel unclear or something, please feel free to do that. All right, at the end of the presentation by both sides, we'll go into something of a closed meeting to discuss the verdict. And if we would then decide how to proceed, okay? Does anyone have any questions? It's a good time to ask. No? Okay. We will now go ahead on and open up the meeting. Is all parties available? Are ready?
Yes, sir.
I do have a question. Mr. Kendrick. The sheriff is trying to get on and he's not being able to. I don't know if.
Yeah, and also Sergeant McCarty, he needs to get on too.
Oh, okay.
Trying, but it's not letting him on.
So this is Tiffany. I do see Sheriff Roundtree and Ms. McCarthy in the waiting room. They are witnesses. Right now, it's just the board and the legal in the room. So if you are a witness, you do not supposed to be in this actual meeting. You need to be logged out and wait into the waiting room until you're called to be sworn in. We try to keep everyone, some order in there without having everyone in the room. So tell Mr. Roundtree, Sheriff Roundtree, that he is in the waiting room. I see him, and when he's called, I will allow him into the main room.
Okay, thank you, Matt.
You're welcome, sir.
So are we all clear on that? Okay. So with that now, Ms. McLean, I think it's probably be best if we swear in people as they come rather than try to swear in everyone at the same time, okay?
Yeah, that'll be fine.
All right, thank you.
Is Mr. Ahmed Ismail, is he present?
Yes, it's loading for him now to come in.
Oh, he's there?
Why are you saying no? The camera is no.
Yeah, I see his name.
Then you no one.
Mr. Ismail, can you hear me?
Mm-mm.
Hello? Mr. Ismail, can you hear me? Evidently he can't.
But this one I can talk with them. Okay.
Change headphones.
I like to have an open eyes.
Still, I mean, I hear myself.
Okay. Mr. Ismail, can you hear me?
You should wait till they start talking.
Okay.
Mr. Ismail.
I will give Mr. Ishmael a phone call to let him know he needs to probably turn his computer up or take himself off mute. 1 second.
Okay. Well, we'll give her a minute. We can't do it without him.
Okay.
Can
Can you hear me now?
Mr. Ismail, can you?
Miss Stephanie.
No, it's not working.
I see Mr. Ismail, but it doesn't seem like he's moving.
Mr. Ismail.
I'm on the phone with him now.
Okay.
Okay.
He's trying to transfer to a different device as we speak right now.
Okay.
Uh, no.
Can hear.
Okay. Me, I can, for some reason.
I have this issue before.
No,
That's why I used to play video games on here. Alright.
that's what I'm trying to do. Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Ismail, can you hear me?
He has removed himself and he's going to log back in. Give him about a few minutes.
Okay.
Okay, he is connected to audio.
I see him.
All right, I hear you.
You hear me? Good. Good morning. How are you?
Sir.
Are you there now? You froze up on my screen.
Yes, sir. I hear you.
All right. Then I tell you what, Ms. McLean, could you swear him in for me, please?
Okay. Mr., and forgive me if I mispronounce your name. Ahmed.
Ma'am, it's Ismail. Yes, ma'am.
Ahmed Ismail?
Yes,
Ismail?
ma'am. Ismail.
Ismail. Okay. Mr. Ismail, can you please raise your right hand?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you swear and or affirm that the information you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
That's right. I do.
I can't hear you, sir.
I swear I do.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay. Mr. Ismail, since you are appealing this decision by the sheriff's department, you may present your case.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Well, I felt you guys have the paper I submitted. That's the
Hold up a minute. I don't hear you well, and I think others are having that same problem.
And he's kicked off. And I do believe it's his internet feed. He has a slow internet feed.
Oh,
It appears. Mr. Ahmed, are you still there?
Yeah.
Okay, we can't see.
Yes, you just kind of log in outside. But I put the two statement, and with my statement against Lieutenant Jenkins. So my lawyer, he told me the only things they gotta do, you resign or you will get fired. So 3 weeks, nothing happened on my case, regarding my case. I live in Board County. So they tell us we can use the car as a personal vehicle. So I stopped by in Board County to chit chat with them. Next day I go in and then Terminate affair, I get fired for it. I say, you fire me because you try to cover up the grievance I put for Lieutenant Jenkins. But we have deputy, they took the car into the bar, they took the car everywhere, different county, go in the bar, make it like Uber for drunken people. This is no county abusing. But because I stopped by to another county, the county I live on, I don't stop by in different county. This is the same county I live on. Next day I get fired and he telling me, you know what, Ismail, you know how much we have a problem with Burke County. I say, yeah, guys, this is between you. It had nothing to do with my case. I said, what happened to my case? Why I didn't hear nothing from you, my case, for 3 weeks? No answer. We still investigate. What investigate? I have two statements from two managers with my statement. He was calling me, I'm a bomber, I'm a terrorist, I'm a blah, 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 from everyone. And he was forced me to pay him money because he's always late and he demand. And that's why even that's for the law, that's extortion when you ask people to pay you and their threat, you not gotta prove his training, you not gotta let him go anywhere if I need to apply for any kind of training because he's in charge about training. And the problem with him, we have too much complaint. If you guys pull his file, too much complaint on him. He called people racism, he called people the name, he called different deputy. I'm sorry about this, you only good for sex. But her word against his word, they squish it. He called another deputy, you are a sperm bucket. They squish it. He have too much complaint every month. The lieutenant, he have too much complaint and nothing happening because they word against their word. But when I get to present the statement from different manager, I'm the one I get fired because, oh, I use the county vehicle. If you don't need me, I'm fine. Tell me, go ahead, resign, Ismail. This is not gonna work out. I have cases now open with EEOC against the county because like how the way they treat me.
Okay. Is that the sum total of your presentation, or do you have some other witnesses or anything?
I mean, I have the witness. You have two statements. I don't know if in front of you or not. That's the two statement I have. Even when he quit from my special because he feel like, okay, he's not gonna get no more money. I mean, he be work with me for 1 year, and he demanded to get paid all the time. He sent me to the school without my book. When I took the test, I missed 2 points. And I tell him, hey, LT, I missed 2 points because y'all guys don't provide the book for me. He said, no, you're done. That's it. You get fired.
Okay. Now, were you aware that you could be represented by counsel for this?
No, sir.
You didn't know that?
No, sir.
Had you known it, would you want to be represented by counsel?
No, sir.
You didn't. Okay.
The only things I come in, he say, you need to come in the office. Do you want to, he say, that's what the internet affair. They try to get me for lying. He said, did you apply anywhere today or to another? I say, yeah, I did. Oh, so you stopped by in Burke County. I say, why, you think I got to lie about it? I'm not gonna lie about it. Yes. Okay, give me your badge. You suspended for rest of the day. You coming tomorrow morning to see the chief. I go tomorrow morning. They hand it over to me my paper. You get fired. That's it.
All right. Do you have any additional witness? And I'm a little confused too. You said something about a 3 weeks period, and then now you're saying that you came in the next day you was fired. Could you explain that for me, please?
What the 3 weeks period? That's why I put the grievance.
Okay.
When I put the grievance, I didn't hear anything about my grievance, and they still tell me, "Oh, we still do investigation." What investigation? I mean, you fired me because one day I stopped by in the Burke County because that's what happened. Burke County, they call my department and they tell them, "When your deputy is here," but I get fired next day when you confirm with Burke County. But Jenkins, for 3 weeks, is nothing happened to him.
Okay. All right. Do you have any other information that you would like to provide to this body to help us formulate a decision?
No, sir. That's the only two statement I give you on my statement. That's only I need. If you need the more witness, we can push it further to get more witness.
All right. Well, you know that
I always for the county. I'm never calling. Never. I have for 2 years almost. I work in the county. I have it 2 days off. 2 days off for vacation for 2 years. Never called sick. I'm always volunteer for whatever the sheriff department they need. Anyone, he needs someone with equipment. I say, I'm going for a week. He said, it's supposed to 4 days. He said, oh, we push you a week. I said, so this is my county. I work, I go. They need second time, 10 days. I say, I go. I always with my county. For the time I work with the county, I went to court twice because all my cases on point. I have no problem with anyone except here we are.
Okay. Then I think we will go ahead on and present the other side. So Ms. Williams, would you provide the sheriff and the rest of them, let them present that case?
Do you want me to call the witness or can I ask Mr. Ismail a
Yes,
couple
ma'am.
of questions?
Go ahead.
Chairman Kendrick.
Yes, please.
Okay. Good morning, Mr. Ismail.
Good morning, man.
You were familiar with the department's policies and procedures, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And how were you made aware of those policies and procedures?
Because we have the book for it.
Okay. You also go into a system and acknowledge reading the various policies, correct?
We acknowledge, but no one read it.
Okay. Am I able to share a screen?
Yes.
Okay, let me see if I can share my screen here. Oh, it's disabled.
I'm gonna go ahead and show your screen. Give me 1 second. Let me give you permission.
Thank
There
you.
you go.
You may proceed with sharing your screen.
Do you all see the my screen that I shared?
I do.
Okay, Mr. Ismail, do you see the Excel document that I just shared?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and are you familiar with this Excel spreadsheet?
No, really.
Okay, are you familiar that when you go into the system and you read the policy, it tells you the date that you've read? It's like a signature that you've made.
Yeah, I don't deny it, man. We sign
Okay.
in, but I don't deny it.
Okay,
We sign in,
all right.
but I didn't say like I didn't sign in.
Okay, all right. Just wanted to show that you were aware of the policies and procedures there.
Yes.
Now,
Yes, but when you supervisor tell you or the training unit tell you it's fine to use the car for personal because the sheriff he like to be everyone he use the car to see like, hey, we are in the public, we are in the people.
okay, so it's your testimony today that during training you were told that you could use your marked patrol unit for personal business. Is that your statement?
Yeah.
And when were you told that, sir?
Huh?
And when were you
The
told that, sir?
The training unit, we talked with the Sergeant Bell when he was in the training unit.
And everyone is told that they can use their marked patrol unit for personal business?
Everyone they do it. I told you, they go in the bar, they pick drunk female over there. They took their wife from the bar, the girlfriend from the bar. The people they don't have ride, they use it from the bar. They go like working Uber. God knows what's gotta happen after they took home. This is not my concern. That's the county concern.
All right, thank you, sir. And you acknowledged that on September 17th, you went to the Burke County Sheriff's Department while wearing Richmond County uniform, as well as driving your marked patrol unit, Richmond County marked patrol unit, to inquire about and to apply for a job there at Burke County. You acknowledge that?
Yes, ma'am. I was way back home.
Okay, and you also
From the
acknowledge.
fourth side.
Yes, sir. And do you further acknowledge that on or about September 28th, approximately 11 days thereafter, you received the call from the Internal Affairs Office, Richmond County Internal Affairs Office, advising you to report to the office?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and that prior to reporting to the office, and while driving your Richmond County marked patrol unit, you went to Burke County Sheriff's Office and interviewed for a position. You acknowledge that, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And also, sir, do you acknowledge that prior to your termination, you were twice disciplined for unsatisfactory job performance?
No, ma'am. That's not.
Do you acknowledge that in 2020, you were disciplined and received a 1-day suspension for not securing your weapon as you're entering the jail. Do you acknowledge that?
Okay, yes, yes.
Okay, and sometime thereafter, I believe in August of this year, you
Yes, ma'am.
were disciplined, suspended for 2 days for violating the standard operating procedures in your manner of conduct as it related to an incident involving a citizen. You acknowledge that where you were suspended for 2 days?
They try to put me in the probation, the sheriff, he denied it.
Yeah,
But
but the sheriff suspended you for 2 days, correct?
they try to give me probation for 1 year. The sheriff, he denied it because if you read, I don't know if you have the paper on you. If you read or watch the video, why I did this, the car on fire. I'm busy to try to move the 2 people and she above my head barking. I tell her like me, Deputy Washington, 4 times stay away from our scene. They keep telling us, don't rush people. Don't bother people. Don't rush people. So how we got to move people away from your scene if you cannot arrest him? The only thing is we can arrest him or we got to push him away from our scene. So what I did, I removed her from my scene. She go file a complaint. After they put in my report, I tried to save her, whatever her friend, 2 people he was in the car. Older, like the car even started be smoking. I get the blame for it. Oh, I use I'm not supposed to put my hand on it.
Yes, sir.
How I gotta move her with the car almost catching fire? But I take it, I say, you know what? My department, if they feel they need to get punished, whatever, I take it.
Yeah, yes, sir. And that may be why the sheriff, he may have considered that evidence in mitigation. And that's why he made the ultimate decision to suspend you for 2 days rather than place you on probation, correct?
Yes, I'm
Okay.
agree with the sheriff. Okay, I say if I did
Yes.
something wrong, by all means, punish me. Under the tent, he told me like, Ismail, you can't take it a different way. I say it's fine, I'll take. If the sheriff, he need to give me 2 days, by all means, he's my sheriff, he's my boss, whatever. Give me 2 days, I take it. I don't mind to
Yes.
get suspended for something, but
Yeah.
go ahead, man.
Oh, thank you, sir. That completes my questioning.
All right, thank you. Now, does any of the members have any questions of clarification?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No,
Yeah, I'm just, Mr. Ismail, thank you for being here. I just had just for clarification. When you were visiting the Burke County Sheriff's Office,
yes, sir.
one, were you on your way home at
Yes, sir.
the in your marked Sheriff's Richmond County vehicle? And 2, were those doing, if so, were those doing, if no, were those doing office hours, your work hours? Were you visiting the sheriff's office in Burke County during work hours?
How during work hour? I was in my home and Burke County next in my road, and I stopped maybe 5 minutes to see if they hire or not, and I took off. How is work hour?
I'm not sure. Mr. Ismail, it's a question. I'm just
Yes.
clarity. Did you stop at the Burke County Sheriff's Office during work hours?
I have no clue this was here. I have no clue this was work hour or not.
Okay.
They never tell me. So when I take off from here, they never tell me, hey man, you got to get paid till you get home. They never tell us that. You off. We never discuss about when you work from 8 to 5 or when you leave a foresight. We never have discussed about how many hours. We don't put the time sheet, what time we're leaving or what time we come in. So how I know this is my work hour? If I know that, I'd be come back home and change and go.
Right. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Are there any other questions for clarification?
No, sir.
All right.
Wait, I have my hand up. I'm waving.
All right. Okay, go ahead, please.
I may have the same question as Mr. Woods.
Go
I
ahead, ma'am.
think the question is, when you stopped
Yes, ma'am.
at Burke County, was
Yes,
it during your shift or was it after your shift and you cleared and you went home?
No, ma'am. I was off. We was coming from Forsyth. I didn't work. I work a night shift. So when you leave a Forsyth, they never tell us what time you're leaving. We done. We take our time to come in here. We can stop by in the restaurant. We can stop by anywhere, spend even night, because I didn't work next day. So I was off. So I can spend the night over there in Forsyth, and they don't know if I spend the night in Forsyth. So if I spend the night in Forsyth, did I gotta get paid for it? That's my question.
No, I understand completely now. I apologize. I didn't understand what you were
ma'am,
meaning
you don't
by
have to
foresight.
apologize. You just need
Thank
to be
you.
clear, because they surprised me when you tell me, oh, you on our workout. Whoa. You never know when I left Forsyth. You never know when we be done. My question is, did I get paid for it? Absolutely not, because I didn't see my paycheck.
Thank you for that clarification.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, hearing no further clarification needs, we will go ahead on and move and ask the Sheriff's Department to come forward and present that case.
I'll call Sergeant William McCarty as my first witness.
Thank you, ma'am. And once you do that, will you swear him in for?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Do I need to stay in the line?
Yes, you remain on, Mr. Ismail.
Yes, ma'am.
And you
Yes, ma'am.
have the option too at the end of her questioning to question him also.
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
Good morning, Sergeant McCarty. Can you hear me?
Good morning. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Would you please state your full name for the record, sir?
Sergeant William McCarty.
Okay, and Sergeant McCarty, are you employed by the Richmond County Sheriff's Office?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Okay, and in what capacity are you employed, sir?
I am an internal affairs investigator in the Internal Affairs Division of the Richmond County Sheriff's Office.
And how long have you been in the Internal Affairs Department or division there, sir?
Almost 4 years. Since since January of 2018. So.
And in that capacity, did you have an occasion to investigate a matter involving Mr. Ismail, for which we're here today, sir?
I did.
And can you tell this board about that investigation, sir?
Yes, ma'am. On September the 27th, the Internal Affairs Division, I myself had received information that Deputy Ahmed Ismail had gone on September the 17th, 2021, had gone to the Burke County Sheriff's Office in a county-issued patrol car and had gone to that location in his uniform as well and filled out or asked to fill out an employment application. This was reported to have happened on September 17th around 3 p.m. In addition to that, I should note that Deputy Ismail was assigned to training and was in essence still on county time. I had received that information, I believe, from Colonel Chu. I did make contact with Captain Jimmy Wild with the Burke County Sheriff's Office, who verified that information and had provided me the date and the time, or confirmed the date and time that it had occurred. After learning that information, on Tuesday, September 28th,
I apologize. Hold on, let me
That's
stop.
okay.
Did I swear Mr. Sergeant McCarty in? I apologize.
You did not.
Okay.
No one said anything. I apologize. Sir, can you raise your right hand?
Yes,
We're gonna have to start all over again.
that'll be fine.
Do you swear and or affirm that the information you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay. Sir, again, can you please state, now that you're under oath, can you please state your full name for the record, sir?
Yes, it is Sergeant William McCarty.
And Sergeant McCarty, are you employed by the Richmond County Sheriff's Office?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
And what is your position in the office, sir?
I am a sergeant in the Internal Affairs Division.
Okay, and how long have you been working as a sergeant in the Internal Affairs Division, sir?
Since January of 2018.
Okay, you broke up there. Can you repeat that?
Yes, since January of 2018, almost 4 years.
Okay, and in your capacity as a sergeant in the Internal Affairs Division, did you have an occasion to investigate a matter involving Mr. Ismail, for which we're here today, sir?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Can you please tell the board about the nature of that investigation?
Yes, ma'am. On September 27th of this year, I had received information that Deputy Ismail had used his marked patrol car to travel to the Burke County Sheriff's Office to fill out an application for employment, and subsequently learned that he was actually having a conversation with the chief deputy there regards to employment. I was informed that this happened the previous September 17th around 3 p.m. I made contact with Captain Jimmy Watts with the Burke County Sheriff's Office, and I personally verified this information with him. After learning that, on the morning of Tuesday, September 28th at 11 a.m., I called Deputy Ismail and advised him to report to the Internal Affairs Division that I needed to speak with him. Deputy Ismail stated that he was in Burke County. To note, he does live there, that it may take him a while to get there, but he would be on the way. That was 11 o'clock. I had that conversation with him. At 11:54 a.m., I was notified by Colonel Chu that he had received information that Ismail was again at the Burke County Sheriff's Office at that very moment, conducting an interview for that position. I immediately made contact with, again, with Captain Wilds with the Burke County Sheriff's Office, and he again confirmed that information. Again, this is in light that I had called him and I mean, you need to report to Internal Affairs. Deputy Ismail never told me he had any type of appointment to go to, certainly didn't tell me he was going to interview for another job. But he did go, and it's also noted that he again used his county issued patrol car to do that, to take care of that, to go to this interview. Deputy Ismail did ultimately report to the sheriff's office, I believe around 12:30, maybe 12:45. He was interviewed by myself and Lieutenant Ron, who was my internal affairs supervisor. We did speak to him about this. He and brought this to his attention at 2 different occasions, and he did not deny that he had done this. After we spoke to him, I consulted with my command staff, specifically with Chief Clayton, and it was agreed that we would place Deputy Ismail on administrative leave until ultimately we could decide what we were going to do. So he was placed on administrative leave that afternoon, was given a ride home because he could not take his patrol car at that point. I was instructed to prepare a disciplinary report for manner of conduct and recommend termination, which I did. I submitted the DR to the command staff. It was signed off by Colonel Chu, Chief Deputy Clayton, and Sheriff Roundtree. On September 29th, the next day, Deputy Ismail arrived in the Internal Affairs Division, and we went to Colonel Chu's office, and he terminated Mr. Ismail for that violation.
So in your investigation of Mr. Ismail's conduct, you determined that his conduct was a violation of the department's standard operating procedures, sir?
I did, ma'am.
Okay. I have no further questions for you. Mr. Ismail may have some questions as well as the board.
I have no question.
Okay. All right, then proceed with your next witness, Ms. Heyman. I'm sorry, I've been calling you Ms. McLean, but I'm sorry.
It's McLean. It's McLean Heyman. And so
okay.
you can call me Miss McLean or Miss Heyman.
All right, but please proceed with your next witness, please.
Okay, the board doesn't have any questions of Sergeant McCarty. So I can.
I have one question for Sergeant McCarthy. When you make the decision to terminate Mr. Ismail, based on your personnel policies, are there any other progressive disciplinary actions you could have taken besides termination?
Ultimately, it is up to the discretion of the command staff and the sheriff. We in some instances, if this were a violation, a minor violation of conduct or, some sort of procedural matter, we could be in the discretion of the sheriff. It was ultimately the sheriff's decision. I mean, I could recommend termination. The sheriff or the command staff may decide that that's not appropriate. They may have the option to leave it as a written warning, a suspension, or termination. In this case, it was.
My question is, does your procedure have any progressive disciplinary actions up to and including termination?
It could, yes.
Does it have a progressive disciplinary actions up to and including termination?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
And I'll ask a follow-up question. Sergeant McCarty, the department has what's known as a disciplinary matrix, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, and that's akin to what some would say as a progressive discipline policy, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and is it also true that Mr. Ismail was twice disciplined in the past before he was terminated? He had received 2 disciplinary actions, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
I have a question, but I don't know if my question's allowed.
Or
So someone will tell me if it's not.
just test it and let's see.
When you say that, Sergeant McCarty, you said that in your earlier testimony that he was considered on shift, or could you explain, I think Mr. Ismail said he had left Forsyth and was heading to his house, or was he actually on shift?
He was assigned to training. He was in Forsyth for a 40-hour SWAT level 1 school. He received 8 hours, a total of 40 hours for 8 hours for 5 days that week. So he had received 8 hours credit and was still, technically on shift, on duty. While he wasn't answering calls, he was subject to being on duty and could have been called to active service.
I don't think I understand. Was he supposed to remain at Forsyth?
He wasn't supposed to remain. They released him from the class.
So he was released from the class.
He was released from the class, but he did receive 8 hours credit for that day.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
And
Any
just
other questions?
as a follow-up, sir, did you mention the time of day? I believe that he showed up at, was it at 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock? What was the time of day?
I was informed it was around 3 p.m.
Okay, and he was being paid at that time because he was supposed to work an 8-hour day, correct?
Correct.
Okay. With no further questions, I'll call Colonel Chu.
Miss Heyman.
Yes,
excuse me
sorry
a
about
second. I'm sorry. Just a point of clarity. So Sergeant McCarty, if I may. So
Yes, sir.
within that designated time for them to report to training, is there an allotted amount of travel time for them to report and being able to come back home? Does that include within that work day, is there any time permitted for travel?
Yes, generally you're given travel time to go to and from school, depending on where the school is located. In this case, it was for Forsyth, which is maybe an hour away, but you are allotted 4 hours for travel as well.
Okay, so within that allotted travel time, they are still considered on the clock, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay.
They can't drink. They can't, obviously in patrol car, but anytime you can't drink. Like I said, you're subject to call. But yes, you.
Thank you.
Correct.
You answered my question. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, if the board members have no further questions for Mr. Sergeant McCarty, I apologize. I will call my next witness, Sergeant McCarty. Is it okay, Chairman Kendrick, to release Sergeant McCarty?
Yeah, you're free to leave, sir.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Y'all have a good day.
And
Have a
thank you for your
good
presentation.
My next witness is Colonel Calvin Chu.
Mr. Chu is now in the meeting.
Okay. Colonel Chu, can you hear me? He's on mute.
You're on mute.
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Your video is not on. You turn your screen on, sir, or are you not in a position to turn it on?
I see him.
I don't. Maybe it's something wrong with my internet connection here. Do you see his face?
I see.
Yeah, we see his face.
Picture, but he's there.
Oh, okay. I don't see his picture, but we have to see you raise your hand. I'm about to administer the oath, sir. Is your camera on, your video on?
I can see that he got his hand raised.
Oh,
Yes,
he
ma'am,
does?
the video's on and I can hear you.
I don't know what's wrong. Something's wrong with our internet here in the office because I keep getting a message that the internet is being interrupted. So I apologize. If you'll raise your right hand, even though I can't see you.
It's raised.
Do you swear and or affirm that the information you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Will you please state your full name for the record, sir?
Yes, my name is Calvin John Chu.
Okay, and are you employed with the Richmond County Sheriff's Office, sir?
Yes, ma'am. I'm the colonel over administration for the Richmond County
Oh,
Sheriff's
now I
Office.
see. Okay, you're the colonel over administration, and how long have you worked in that capacity?
It's actually been about 3 months,
Oh.
but I've been with the sheriff's office for over 30 years.
Okay, well, congratulations on your new position, sir. In your position, did you have an occasion to investigate a matter concerning Mr. Ahmed Ismail, for which we're here today, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
And can you tell the board about the nature of that investigation?
Yes, ma'am. And I'm not quite sure of the actual dates, but I do know that I was contacted by a deputy who wanted to remain anonymous. I received a phone call and it stated that Deputy Ahmad Ismail had gone out to Burke County Sheriff's Office in uniform and in his patrol vehicle while on duty and had spoken to individuals out there about getting a job. I thought that was, first of all, I found out that this was on the clock while he was supposed to be working. So I notified internal affairs. I called Sergeant McCarty and I said, hey, you need to look into this and to find out if this is actually true. And if so, we need to call him in and talk to him about this and then go from there, whether we need to do disciplinary action or not. The following day, I received another phone call from a deputy and they're telling me that he's out there. Well, let me back up a little bit. After I told Sergeant McCarty that, he later contacted me, Sergeant McCarty did, and said, yes, he was able to verify that Deputy Ahmad Ismail was out there and that they were calling him down to the office to speak to him. I said, okay, fine, let's go ahead and handle this. The following day, I get another call that Deputy Ismail was out there now doing an interview and he drove the patrol car again out to this agency. So then I called Internal Affairs again and I said, hey, I thought we talked about this and is he coming down to see you guys? Does he know that he's not supposed to be driving a patrol car? And they said, yes, we already talked to him and he's coming in. I said, well, call and find out again if this is actually accurate. And sure enough, they called out and they verified that it was accurate and that he was out there the second day and he was actually doing the interview then and he had driven a patrol car. And that's where I'm at.
Okay. And did Mr. Ismail's conduct violate the standard operating procedures of the department, sir?
Absolutely.
Okay.
While you're on the clock, you can't go to another agency. For that matter, you can't just go wherever you want to go. If you're on the clock and you're supposed to do law enforcement duties, then you're supposed to be doing law enforcement duties. And you can't use a patrol car for personal use.
Now, sir, you stated or you testified that you've been with the department for over 30 years.
Yes,
now,
ma'am.
In your 30 years, or perhaps, well, I know that there have been different sheriffs, but under Sheriff Roundtree, are you able to confirm whether or not during the orientation process, the officers are instructed that they can use their patrol units for personal business? Are they given?
No, ma'am.
That's not true? That would not be true?
That's not true at all.
Okay, okay. That concludes my questioning for Colonel Chu. Colonel Chu, Mr. Ismail, or the board may have some questions for you, sir.
Mr. Ismail, you go first. Do you have any questions for Colonel Chu?
No, sir.
No. Now, the board members have any questions for Colonel Chu for clarification only? I see Mr. Woods got his hand raised. Please. go
Yes,
ahead.
sir. Just for clarification, Colonel Chu, thank you for being here. Just for a point of clarification, the grievance against Mr. Ismail is based upon him stopping by another agency while on shift in uniform and in patrol car. Is that correct?
Yes, for personal business.
For personal business or use.
Yes, sir.
Okay, the other question is, there is some, I think, clearing up of questioning about when they do the training, he was at training, when he was released. Between the time he's released and the time, quote, his shift ends, is there a determining factor of, is he on personal time once he's released? Or is there some time frame in there where he has to be available to the business of the sheriff's department up until a particular time? For instance, if it's 3 o'clock and his time ends at 4 for training, is that 1 hour in there a lot of personal time, or does he still need to be available for Richmond County business?
He still needs to be available.
Okay. So then the biggest factor then is the going to another agency in uniform, in county vehicle, on personal business.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, sir, for the clarity.
Okay, are there any?
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead, Ms. Scott.
Again, please tell me if you're not allowed to answer this. When you say he left training and had been released, is something for personal use, is it considered personal use because he went to another department in his uniform, or is it personal use had his stop been at a grocery store? Is that the same thing, or is it because he went to another department in the uniform in the company car, or in the sheriff car, sorry?
It's because he went to another agency in his personal, in the county vehicle, in uniform, to apply for a job.
Thank you.
All right, are there any other? Hearing none, Colonel Chu, thank you so much for your presentation. Ms. Heyman, you may proceed.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Colonel Chu. You're excused.
Thank you.
My last witness is Sheriff Richard Roundtree.
Mr. Roundtree is in the room. He is connecting to audio.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Roundtree is available.
Thank you. Good morning, Sheriff Roundtree.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, members of the board.
If you would raise your hand, please. I'm going to administer the oath. Do you swear and or affirm that the information you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, sir?
I do.
Thank you. Well, can you please state your full name for the record?
Richard Roundtree.
Okay. And what is your position, sir?
I am the duly elected sheriff of Richmond County since November of 2020.
And as a sheriff of the Richmond County Sheriff's Office, you have you have the final say, or the authority, the final authority, decision to terminate or discipline an employee?
That's correct, ma'am. That's solely lies with me.
Okay. In your capacity as sheriff, did you have an occasion to review disciplinary action involving Mr. Ahmed Ismail, for which we're here today, sir?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Okay. And you're familiar with the context of the reasons for which he was being disciplined?
That's correct.
Okay. And can you tell the board why you decided to terminate Mr. Ismail?
Absolutely. When I received information from Colonel Chu that Mr. Ismail had possibly went to Burke County on duty in uniform to apply for a job, I then told him to go ahead and proceed with the internal affairs investigation to verify the information. Colonel Chu and Chief Clayton, my other chief deputy, had some concerns into it because they know that Mr. Ismail had filed a complaint. I told them that I understood that this is an independent investigation. It has nothing to do with the complaint. And the complaint investigation still should continue. However, I'm not going to be held hostage by a person who files a complaint and not subject to disciplinary action. So to proceed with the internal affairs investigation and see if, in fact, if it is true. That was done. I think the next day or the day thereafter, I received information again that Internal Affairs had tried to contact Mr. Ismail to come in for a formal interview to verify the allegations. At that time, it was advised that he was, in fact, back in Burke County conducting an oral interview for the job that he had previously applied for while on duty. I am asking how this was verified. It was until the point where when they called Captain Wiles of the Burke County, that had he been down there to apply, he said he's sitting in front of me right now. At that point, once he arrived in Richmond County, they conducted their interview. I told them, in fact, to write up the details of the report, everything that transpired, everything that they had confirmed, place him on administrative leave, and then submit the file up the chain of command for review. The next day, the file was reviewed by Colonel Chu. At that point on our disciplinary forms, they can either agree, disagree, and offer a alternative disciplinary action to the one that was proposed. Colonel Chu agreed with the termination. He was passed on to Chief Clayton. Chief Clayton independently reviewed the file. He also agreed with the termination and ultimately placed on my desk for final review. When I received the file, based on all the information I took into account, the previous write-up that I had done maybe a month prior to with Mr. Ismail, where they had proposed a disciplinary action of 3 days and probation. I actually reduced that down to 2 days after I looked at the entirety of the investigation. So I actually reduced that disciplinary request down to 2 days instead of 3 days and 12 months probation. That had happened, like I said, again, maybe a month prior to this incident, taking consideration that he had just received 2 days suspension without pay for a violation of his conduct. The fact that he, in fact, used our county vehicle in uniform while on duty to go to another agency to apply for another job, and then the subsequent day after, returned back to that agency, driving the county vehicle again, interviewing for the subsequent job prior to coming to Richmond County to be interviewed by Internal Affairs as he was instructed to do. At that point, I made the ultimate decision that I would terminate Mr. Ismail.
And Sheriff Roundtree, would it be true that your officers, as part of their training or orientation prior to working, that they are instructed that they can use their marked patrol units to conduct personal business? Would that be a true statement?
No, ma'am. We've had instances where that has occurred before. Other deputies have been disciplined in reference to that. So that has been a matter of our policy. I think you guys restated it in our policy that the vehicles are not to be used for personal use.
Okay, Sheriff Roundtree, that concludes my questioning. Now, Mr. Ismail or
Yes, ma'am.
board members may have some questions for you.
Mr. Ismail, do you have any questions for Sheriff Roundtree?
No, not for the sheriff.
Thank you. Do any of the board members have any questions for clarification for Sheriff Roundtree? Hearing none. Sheriff Roundtree, we thank you so much for your presentation, for being a part of this. And we will be running a decision soon, and we will let everyone know, okay?
Thank you, sir. Thank you for taking the time to hear the case.
Thank you, Sheriff Roundtree.
All right, Ms. Hamer, would you continue?
I rest my case, sir.
All right. For summation, Mr. Ismail, do you have anything you would like to add or somehow express to this body?
Yes, sir. If they say they pay me 40 hours, we went over there from Sunday to Friday. We every day from 8 to 6:30. I didn't get paid all this amount of money. And the second, if they say I stop by in Burdick County at 3 o'clock, so from 8 to 3, I was already off. So I can't take any break. So I didn't get paid for it. And what they say about, I don't know why they keep talking about the county time. This is not the county time because you don't know what time I get off or what time I get home. You don't know. I could be stopped by my cousin, sit 2 hours. You don't know I was in county time. I could be stopped by grocery store. That's not county time. I didn't get paid for the county time when they keep talking about the county time. And first, no one he talking about orientation about the county vehicle. No, nothing about the county vehicle. All you can. They tell us we can't use a vehicle as a personal time, and I'm under oath because the sheriff he lied. People he see the vehicle, even we can use it to the gym on the day off because that's what sheriff they want. They want to see the county vehicle in the county all over the place. People like, oh man, the sheriff department here, we're not gonna do anything. So I don't know why they're taking about the time, no time, and no one to tell us about the time. For my gun, when they say about write-up, I didn't even pass the jail. I passed the first gate, and I didn't even pass the second gate, and then back it up. People over there, they try to be like, oh, well, we are good, we are whatever. Fine, I got right up 8. But in the policy, they say, if you're in the probation, they will fire you if you're probation. I'm not was in the probation. They can't concern because he said, if you have a 2 write-up and a probation, you get fired. I'm not in the probation. They can sit with me and tell me, hey man, you get suspended a week. Oh, well, I take it. I get suspended, my department. But they try to cover up my grievance. What happened to the person I put the grievance on him? He's still working, nothing happened to him. They keep saying, everyone from the internal affairs, the colonel, the chief, county time. How is it county time? It wasn't county time. You pay me for 40 hours. I think I get paid for 40 hours, but we over there from Sunday till Friday. This is counted 40 hours from 8 to 6:30. We barely make it to the food.
Okay, thanks a lot. Ms. Heyman, do you have anything in your summation for this body?
Just want to remind the body that Mr. Ismail does not deny his conduct. He does not deny the fact that he drove a marked Richmond County patrol unit to the Burke County Sheriff's Office to interview for a position and to also apply for a position. He does not deny that. You've heard from Internal Affairs. You've also heard from the sheriff himself, who has the ultimate authority to terminate. The decision ultimately rests with the sheriff, and you heard from the sheriff. You also heard the sheriff tell you that his officers are not told, that it was just not true that the officers are told that they can use those vehicles to conduct personal business. You've also heard testimony that Mr. Ismail was previously disciplined on 2 occasions for his manner of conduct. And he was progressively disciplined. And that evidence that he submitted on one of those disciplinary actions, the sheriff did reduce the level of discipline that he was to receive. He reduced it from 12 months probation to just a 3-day suspension without pay. So Mr. Ismail has been progressively disciplined. It's just that this time, on the 3rd time, was the last straw, and the sheriff decided to terminate Mr. Ismail. So that being said, I would ask that the board uphold the decision of the department to terminate Mr. Ismail. Thank you for your time.
Okay, with that, ladies and gentlemen, we will ask everyone to leave except the board members and staff, okay? You will be informed of our decision within the next few days, all right? Thank
Yes,
you
sir.
all. Thank you all for being a part of this.
Thanks, sir.
Ms. Williams, you can clear us out. Okay, now we just got the board members and staff, right?
Do you want me to leave too? Am I to leave?
Yes, ma'am, you need to leave
Okay.
too.
All right. Have a good day.
Thank you. We'll get back to you.
All right.
Okay, just the board members and staff. As of right now, what we usually do, we got 2 choices here. We can call this meeting to an end and come back at a later date and discuss it, or we can discuss it now, and I think that may be the best thing to do. And normally when we discuss it now, I like to take a vote first and see where everybody is, and if we maybe all be on the same page, and if we are, we can go ahead and nail it down and get it out and get it over with, okay? So,
Mr. Chairman, this is Mr. Morris. How you doing?
Good.
Are we still live streaming this, our deliberation as well? Is this
No.
still being live streamed?
Yes,
we're
I'm
just-
going to interrupt. I am going to put you guys in a breakout room, excuse me, because you guys are still live streaming, so you guys can deliberate. Once you guys come to a vote in conclusion, I will bring you back to the live stream and you can go from there to conclude the meeting.
That's what we need to do.
Okay, so give me a second. I'm going to send you out into a room, okay?
Okay, please do.
One moment.
Stephen, that's why you get paid the big bucks.
Nah, I just want to be fair.
There you go.
Just want to be fair.